Welcome to Wine with HR. I'm Jules.
Hey there, I'm Trish.
Lawyers turned HR professionals. Through our company, Monarch Endeavors, we guide employers through their oh shit moments with their employees.
In this podcast, we will discuss some of the most common and commonly frustrating HR problems while enjoying our favorite adult beverage, wine.
So sit back, grab a glass if you choose, and join us as we think about and drink about all things HR. Welcome to this week's episode of Wine with HR. It's summertime. Time to sit back and unwind.
Oh,
Unwind.
I don't want to unwind. I want to wine.
True. I know, you're right. But anyway, our last episode was wonderful, but it was pretty heavy. So we wanted to have some fun this week. And so we are going to talk about how you can make the office environment a little bit more fun in the summer when everybody's itching to get outside and do anything but work. So we're going to talk about some great ways to include some fun activities and also increase engagement with your employees. But first, we got to talk about the WINE. So Trish, what you drinking?
I am drinking Dreaming Tree Crush.
Ooh.
First of all, I had no idea that it is a collaboration between Dave Matthews and winemaker Grayson Stewart. I had no clue. Yeah.
Go Dave Matthews.
Right? I thought that was so cool. But this is their red blend. I've had their cab, which I enjoyed, but I just had this one for the first time. I actually opened it last night. I was craving a steak when I got home from my parents' house. And so I was like, grilled steak, nice red wine. And it was delicious. And I am continuing to enjoy it today. I don't even really know how to explain it. Raspberry, cherry, just nice and deep. It's lovely.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
So I am imbibing a sangria today.
Whoa.
Yeah. So my sister and my niece came in to visit from Michigan for 4th of July weekend, and they brought some of this Sierra Rose Sangria, which is made in Michigan. So I thought that I would sample it. It is, trying to see where, it's from Grand Rapids.
What? Hey.
It's a Cascade Winery Company, crafted and packaged by Sierra Rose Cellars. It is derived from the Spanish sangria. Sangria is a wine-based drink with a long history in Spain. It was served in the Spanish Pavilion at the 1964 World Fair in New York and has been an American favorite ever since. Their sangria is a delicious blend of apple wine.
Makes sense. Believe it or not, we have a lot of apple orchards around here.
Yep. So apple wine, grape, and fruit juices with a sparkling twist. And it is quite lovely, especially for summer, because I love my red wine, but oftentimes in summer, it's too much for summer. But this has a very nice sort of, it's not super, super sweet. It is definitely sweet. It's a sangria, so, But
right.
It's not super, super sweet. And I know they didn't say it. They just sort of said fruit, but I feel like there are raspberries in here as well. Definitely
nice.
Berries, raspberries, maybe some blackberries. Can't taste the apple a whole lot, but it's very delightful.
I think now that you mention it, I have seen the billboards for that place as I'm driving around. So I might have to check it out. Thank you. Now, of course, no one else can see the picture, but
that was just
thanks
for you.
Showing me.
Yeah, that was just for you.
Love it.
Okay, so let's get to why we are talking about adding fun to the workplace. So the benefits, which are probably sort of obvious, are that it fosters a sense of enjoyment and camaraderie, and that can lead to more engaged, productive, and satisfied employees. which means that everything's going to be better for the company, including the bottom line. So it can lower stress. So when your employees have fun at work, their moods improve and their stress levels drop, which, fun little fact for you, attendance rates fall by as much as 19% during the summer. And that's usually due to people taking vacations, which can increase stress on the remaining employees because they've got to cover all of those vacations. So if you are putting some fun in and lowering that stress, then hopefully you're going to avoid any problems that might arise because of the increased workload or the covering or whatever the situation might be. It also increases resilience. It helps keep workers bolstered when encountering difficult situations, clients, or deadlines, and it leads to higher job satisfaction. So when the office is a happy, interesting place, employees can look forward to coming in each day. And I have to say that, it can be really hard to be at work when it is beautiful outside. So to combat that, if you bring the fun inside, it makes people feel like they're not missing out on anything huge.
I think that is awesome.
So Trish, I know you have some stats, so hit us with them.
Yeah, just a quick downer. Okay. I have to just a quick downer because I think this is pretty sobering. Gallup does a poll every year and every half year talking about engagement at work. And so the results from the 2023, 33% of employees felt engaged at work. Now, that sounds pretty low. Like a third of your employees are engaged. That means your other ones might be disengaged, as long as they're not actively disengaged, those who are like quietly quitting, things like that. So you don't want that. But it's not great. Now, the typical range that we're looking at is about 32 to 40%. That is what Gallup has found as far as engagement since they started keeping track of these in 2000. Now, why am I sharing that stat with you? Here's the reason. As usual, y'all, we will have all of the links to articles and stats and things like that in our show notes. But this is what the Gallup article said. Each percentage point gain or drop in engagement represents approximately 1.6 million full or part-time employees in the US. Okay, so now that you've got 1.6 million in your head, listen to this. Trends in employee engagement are significant because they are linked to many performance outcomes, which Julie and I talk about all the time.
We did in episode 7.
Ah, yes.
The answers, my friend, are coming from within. And episode 11, where we talked about state interviews and how to keep your good employees.
Check those out. So when you're talking about those employees who are not engaged, and we talk about how it impacts performance, well, guess what? That ultimately then is going to impact your bottom line. And here's what they say. Approximately 1.9 trillion in lost productivity nationally.
Yikes.
Uh-huh. Now think about that. 1.9 trillion. So let's get back to the fun stuff because you don't want to be part of that stats. One of the other reasons to have fun, and we talk about being more innovative and therefore, again, more successful all of the time. So these joyful activities leave your employees feeling relaxed and open-minded. If you are relaxed and open-minded, is that not the best conditions for being creative? So I think that is another great reason for having some fun. And then, of course, improve teamwork. Most of the time when people are having fun, either playing a game or joking around with one another, they don't even realize that they're actually building their relationships. And Julie and I talk a lot about relationships in the workplace as well. Again, see some of our past episodes. So when they're building these kind of relationships, then when it comes to the difficult moments within the team, they'll be able to go through those and maybe solve them a little bit easier.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a ton of ideas for you. So we're just going to start going on them. But as you were talking, Trisha, I thought of one that's not already on our list. And that is maybe you can work in some fun strategy sessions where, a lot of times we don't get to think about the big picture because we're so worried about putting out fires. And so maybe if you have an afternoon where maybe you have a lot of things available for them to do, but like I know if I'm drawing or sketching or coloring, that helps spark creative ideas for me. For other people, it might be taking a walk. For other people, it might be listening to music. For other people, it might be brainstorming, whatever it is. But maybe you can have like little brainstorming, strategy, dreaming sessions, whatever it might be, where you're just trying to latch into that creativity, or have like, I don't remember what they called it in kindergarten, but like basically like playtime where you have coloring books, you have like blocks you can build, like,
Yes.
like little games, rec time, I don't know, whatever.
Choose your activity. I love that. Ooh, that was a good one. Nice ad.
Yeah, thanks.
One of the ones that I found in doing our research for this and things that I've enjoyed in the past at other places that I've worked, field trips. Is there some place that your employees might want to go see? Now, we're not talking about something that's completely unrelated here. We're talking about something like where are your company's products produced? If you have 1 to 10 different places that you're building or growing things, what do those look like? Are people even interacting with each other? So maybe have them take a field trip to one of those places. Now, ultimately, I know that one of the law firms that I worked at when I lived in Cleveland, where Julie is, they did a really awesome one. We all went to the entire firm, all support staff, everyone. We went to Cedar Point for a day. And we had all of this free time on our own, but then we all came back together and had like a picnic lunch and they had all sorts of giveaways. I mean, that one's a big, big deal. You don't have to go that far, but there's just all sorts of different types of field trips. And one other thing, maybe you're like, we can't do any type of field trip. And we're just a small business. We're the only ones. We don't have other buildings or other areas. You know what? Take a field trip outside. Move your meetings out there. I sometimes in my classes, I'll even do that. I'll be like, you know what? It's gorgeous out. Let's sit outside and have this conversation. So move your meetings outside. Get a change in perspective, some fresh air, some sunshine, vitamin D.
Always helpful.
Yeah. Yes.
I like the summer training and development opportunities. So this one's not quite as much fun, but we're talking in our past episodes, episode 7 in particular, about internally developing your employees. And we shared some stats during that one about employee engagement and what happens with disengaged employees. And because there often is more free time in the summer because people are on vacations, that could be a great way to use that time is to give them those professional development opportunities. I believe the stat we had used in one of our past episodes was that at least 59% of people said they would have stayed with their employer longer if they had had more development opportunities. So give them that chance and let them do it now during the summer. Again, it may spark those creative juices because maybe they learn something new that makes them think about something in a different way. And then that works out really well for the company as well.
And I think, Jules, when you're talking about millennials and younger, that number, that percentage goes up into like the 80s or something like that, I believe. I'm fairly certain I have that. I'll have to find it.
Yeah, go look at episode 7. Listen to episode 7.
Changing it up a little bit, We mentioned earlier people just talking and laughing and having fun. What about humor? We want appropriate humor. I'm going to say that again, appropriate humor. But humor is a great way to alleviate tension, just lighten the mood. It can be really fun if done in a professional and kind manner. We're not looking at that kind of humor that is, mean-spirited or anything like that. But if you make a funny observation about something or just being silly, that can actually just relieve that tension, get it out of people's minds. Like, okay, yeah, all right, reset, and then really get ready to focus again. It also maybe makes people a little more comfortable to share their own sense of humor. If you are basically, you're saying, hey, I'm okay with it. Let's see what you have. So set an example.
Yeah. You could even do like a meme of the day, share like a theme of the day, and then maybe you pick a couple people to share a meme. Obviously you want to view them first, but
yes,
we have this neighbor when we go on walks that they post a comic every day too. Actually, it's a double-sided thing. It's so cute. They just put this stake at the front of their house and they, put it in a plastic sheeting so that it doesn't, if it gets wet, you can still read it. And they change it every day. So whenever I go walking past, I always stop and get a nice little chuckle. And I just think that that's so nice. So you could even do something like that. Like if you're in the office, you could put it up on the bulletin board. You could scan it, email it to everybody, have a funny of the day or whatever. But to your point, just anytime you can make people laugh, it's going to improve the environment.
Oh, definitely. I want to see that next time I'm there. We go for a walk.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So you can also do some sort of contest. So, it could be anything. It could be an idea. Maybe it is a new idea. Maybe it is a sales contest, a skills challenge. Of course, we want to be inclusive and accommodate for anybody who may have any sort of ability challenges, but you could do something like that, or you could even have them decorate or personalize their workspace with a certain theme, and then people get to vote for the winner. So there's all sorts of things you could do. But that could be another fun way to sort of get people in the playful, joyful mood.
I like the idea of decorating workspaces, especially on a theme day. Oh my goodness, that would be so fun.
Yes.
Celebrate. We want to make sure that we're always celebrating successes. When your team does something great, when the company does something great, we want to make sure that we are giving a shout out. And whatever it is, whether it's to a person, a team, or to the company as a whole. So that's awesome. But there's more ways we can celebrate too. Birthdays, work anniversaries, any sort of milestone that is a big deal in your workplace. I do have to caution you with this one though. There are people that really just they don't want to celebrate, or maybe they don't celebrate due to religious reasons or personal reasons. So we do need to be very, very respectful, but it is another way to give that kind of attaboy, attagirl for the recognition of hard work, but then also just work anniversaries, birthdays. You can come up with a lot of different things. You could do it. It doesn't even have to be on a daily. If you're worried about people being called out or getting embarrassed or something like that, you could even do it as part of a weekly or a monthly newsletter. So lots of different ways that you can do it to be inclusive, but also respectful.
Absolutely. You also could just have like we're going to celebrate all July birthdays on this day, and people can choose whether or not they want to let people know that their birthday falls in there.
Exactly.
So then it's their choice. If they don't want to, that's fine, but they can still enjoy the cake and the party and the whatever,
Yum.
So this is one that I had been thinking of. So there's a lot of reasons that you could be more flexible in the summer with schedules and things like that. So that's, I know, on our list, but just giving people some extra flexibility for, a lot of people, their kids are home from school, so they might have summer camps or sports camps, or maybe they just, want some extra time to hang out with the family. So you can either try to change the schedule so that it's, maybe core hours, give people a little bit more flexibility. Maybe they can switch to 410s. All of that's going to be obviously industry specific, project specific, that sort of thing. But I think a cool thing to do, if you could, would be to offer like random afternoons off, or instead of inclement weather days, nice weather days. Like if it is a gorgeous, beautiful day out, if you can do it, send out an email at, 2:00 saying, bye, everybody, go have some fun, go enjoy this day. Or if that's not doable because you can't shut the office down, maybe you give each employee 2 to 3 half days they can use throughout the summer where they could do this. Like, you know what, today's a beautiful day. I'm going to go get my kid and I'm going to go to Cedar Point, or I'm going to, whatever the case may be. But just like give them a little bit of extra. That's not going to cost your company much. And what the return you're going to get in engagement, satisfaction, more satisfied employees is going to be well worth it.
That one's fun. Yes, please. Sign me up. That also would be a great recruiting and retention tool, people knowing that is something that you offer. So nice. Love it.
Do you love news about LinkedIn, Indeed, Google, and just about every other recruitment tech company out there?
Hell yeah. I'm Chad.
I'm Cheese.
We're the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
All the latest recruiting news and insights are on our show,
dripping in snark and attitude.
Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts. We out.
Barbecue. I was just with one of food. I was just with one of my friends from Texas, and all I can think of now is barbecue, getting good barbecue. So one of the things that there's actually a bunch of different ways that you could do this too. If you have the space for a barbecue, then you can have either a single department or all of your departments, even better, get together. You could either grill it yourself or you could have it brought in. Anything that just gives them, hey, here's an hour that we want to celebrate you. We want you to sit back, relax, sit outside, drink some lemonade, maybe get some ice cream. I'm always a huge fan of ice cream. One of the things that is not on our list, but just popped into my head because I said ice cream, and though I know an ice cream social is on our list, which is amazing, bringing in a food truck. Anyone who's ever taken any of my classes knows that I say this. You want to be a hero? Bring in a food truck. This is one of the best ways. Julie and I have a client where we used to go on the days the food truck was there because it was amazing. So you're a hero. You bring it in. It doesn't it doesn't cost you anything. You could choose to pay, or you could pay for part of everything, but it's a win-win. You're promoting a small business and your employees are super, super happy. So anything that you can do. Now, I want to just expand on this one a little bit more to social gatherings. Now, I started with the barbecue because it's during work. And that's incredibly important because you do have some people who will not be able to get together after work. And so we want to make sure that we're not excluding them. But some options, either for a smaller company or maybe even departmental, a trivia night, go to networking events together as a team, even laser tag. Remember those? That's so much fun. So you could do things outside of the workplace too, but I like to focus more on things that we can do within the workplace so that we're not accidentally excluding anyone who may have a schedule that we're not aware of, or just a tighter schedule, especially during the summer with the kids at home.
Yes, yes. Well, and since we're talking about food, let's also talk about drinks. So
yes.
you could have a wine tasting, but you better invite us.
Yes, please.
So you could bring in a sommelier and have them teach people about wines and what to pair them with. If you don't have a big group that's, wine lovers, you could do beer or any other sort of drink. You could even have a mocktail mixology event. So then you don't have to worry about the alcohol or anybody driving. And you could bring somebody in who can teach people how to make mocktails. They're all the rage nowadays. So you could bring somebody in, you could experiment with that. That could be a lot of fun. You could also have, going back to the food for a second, like have a cooking class, host a cooking class, or maybe a charcuterie board, how to make one. I've seen those classes, like something fun where people are learning something. They're more engaged than just giving them an excuse to drink and talk to each other, but like a sort of guided event. But something like that could be a lot of fun, or, bring somebody in for other summertime foods, like 25 things you can do with corn on the cob, or I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure there are 25 things you can do with corn on the cob, but
I'm going back to the shrimp. I'm thinking shrimp and Bubblegum Shrimp Company and all the different ways to do shrimp.
And so one last thing on that, you could even, now this you would have to think about sort of towards the beginning of summer, so it might be too late for this year, but you could, if you have the space, you could do this indoors with all the hydroponic stuff, but you could grow a garden and then at the end of the summer season, have a farm to table meal out of it. So I think that would be super cool.
And again, invite us.
Yes.
I am very excited. I have to tell you, my garden is just blooming. And I'm so excited to have like a meal with all of our fresh garden veggies.
It's the best.
Seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make some zucchini. I have a wonderful zucchini muffin bread thing I'll bring down to you next time I come. It's so delicious.
Okay.
You would think that it was full of fat and nastiness. There's chocolate. There's, you'd never know it was healthy.
My kind of food.
Right? Okay. So since we just had the 4th and I was up north in Michigan, I have to do this one because this I thought was a really cool idea. I can't believe I've never thought of this. A virtual campfire. My mother-in-law got for my husband and I this little kit, and it's a s'mores kit that you can do. You don't need to have like a real bonfire. You don't need to have a stove or anything like that. It's the coolest little kit I've ever seen. You could do something like that. You could purchase kits for each one of your workers, and then you could put on a video of a fire, is what they were saying, which I loved. But my best and most favorite part of this one is the ghost stories. Then you could sit around and tell ghost stories. So I thought this one was a really great way to break up the day and have some fun. So
that is so fun.
And I would think really inexpensive too.
Yeah, for sure. Just to wrap up the food, you could have a cook-off competition where everyone brings in their favorite recipe, or, you pick a theme like chili or salsa or, whatever. And then you could have a contest and have people vote. Or if you don't want to make it a contest, you could have employees bring a cultural dish and share the story behind it. So that could be, it's their choice as to what sort of dish they want to bring in and why they decided to do that. You could also do that without involving the food. So one of the things that Trisha and I do in a lot of our virtual trainings is we'll ask people to bring something to to share during the meeting that is personal to them, that is either in their office or in their house, and share the story behind it. And that has always been very moving because people really do take that to heart and they pick something that has a lot of meaning behind it. And it just really helps you connect with people on a deeper level. So you could also do something like that and then have a little show and tell session where people get to talk about what they brought in and why.
We've had times where we have been laughing so hard we went into tears, and we've actually had some that were so heart-tugging that we ended up in tears.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you shared that one. That one's one of my favorites to do with our classes. It's a great one. Speaking of all the warm fuzzies, let's do a charity event. If you want to raise money for a particular charity, you could do a couple of things. So one of the things that we're going to talk about and in just a minute is maybe relaxing your dress code, or maybe I'll just talk about them together, huh, Jules?
Sure. Yeah,
all right,
do it.
All right, so let's start with the relaxing of the dress code then. Lightening up for the summer, a more relaxed dress code. I know people go, oh, no, my employees would take advantage of this. They'd all be coming in and rip jean shorts or flip-flops or something like that. You can still specify what you would like them to wear, but also make it more fun. You could even, if you're like, nope, we're not going to go there, that would just lead to huge problems. What about themes? We mentioned themes before, like maybe a Hawaiian shirt day, or, make it maybe Friday is going to be a Hawaiian themed party. So that way, anything that you do throughout the day, you could have that Hawaiian theme in there. People could wear Hawaiian shirts. You could have some Hawaiian food, maybe talk about Hawaiian culture, because it's fascinating. It's so beautiful, Hawaiian culture. And you could do that with a bunch of different places, but of course, Hawaii is always a great place to start. And most people would really get into, because you can go to the dollar store and get like some Lay's and things like that are really fun. I actually have a plastic pineapple behind me. I did that for some clients. We did a big party for them that was Hawaiian themed. Anyway, if you wanted to have some sort of a special event, dressing event like that, and you didn't want to make it a full day party, you could still just have the dress themes and use it to raise money for charity. So for $5, you can wear jeans and a Hawaiian shirt, or for $5 or $1 or a donation, a minimum of $5 up to this. And then you can use that to raise money. You could do a car wash to raise some money. Even that, we mentioned the ice cream social earlier. So maybe, hey, we're going to have an ice cream social. We're going to ask for a donation, however, and then all of that's going to go to charity. Maybe you could even join Habitat for Humanity. Get a group together and go volunteer at one of your local shelters. One of my favorites that we used to do with my mom, we did an adopt a grandma program, and we would pick someone and we would go in and read to them. And so, especially for those who don't have families, I mean, you talk about, it doesn't all have to be about money is my whole point. It's just about, if you make others feel good, you're going to end up feeling great yourself. And you talk about a bonding and moving experience that will grow into the workplace. That's one of my absolute favorites.
I love that. I also was thinking, as you were talking about the theme days with dressing, you could even do something where you encourage employees to clean out their closets and bring it in, and then do like a group donation to the Goodwill, the Salvation Army, the Easter Seals, whatever, but where you give them a reason and sort of a deadline to go through their closets. And maybe you turn that into something fun, because you say, okay, and we're inviting you to wear the most obnoxious thing that you found when cleaning out your closet, and then bring it back up because you're going to donate it. But like, you could have a lot of fun with something like that. And you're, giving people a reason to clean out their closets, and also then you're giving it to people who need it. So
I love that. And it's good for decluttering the mind too.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
That's awesome.
Okay. So I want to talk about, I touched on this before, but like stocking the break room with games or just something to let people let off some steam. And again, that might get the creative juices flowing and they might come up with some new ideas about things. You could do something where maybe you do have board games, but you find a way to randomly pair people up so that maybe they're sitting with people they're not used to sitting with so that they get to know people that maybe they don't know so well. So you can find ways to accomplish more than one goal with something like that and still have a lot of fun with it.
I like the idea of scavenger hunts too, but instead of having to find an item, well, that would be fun too, though, like something random on someone's desk. Take a picture of it, though. Don't take it off their desk.
No stealing.
No stealing. We're not promoting that. That is not fun. Oh, my goodness. But maybe facts. Maybe you could, everybody in the office could share something that they think someone wouldn't know about them. And it could be work related or it could be personal. It's another one of the games that Julie and I do in our classes. But that might be a cool way to do a scavenger hunt, like find the person who likes to bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, who likes Kilimanjaro or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's great.
That's a good one. Ultimately, get people outside. That's what we're talking about. Whether it's through sponsoring a sports team or maybe just taking a break and getting people to go out, maybe softball over lunch, or I don't know. One of the things we saw even said mini golf, take them to mini golf. Anything to encourage people to get outside and breathe a little bit. Bocce ball or badminton. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the things that don't cost like a ton of money. Bocce ball, badminton. What's the croquet? Pickleball, croquet. What's that slam one? Isn't there? Oh, wait. Do you have to be at the beach for that one, though? Slam ball or something like that? Anyway, encourage them to do that. And ready, Julie? Encourage them to take their what?
Vacation time. Yes.
Make sure everyone takes that much, much needed time off. You say we're too busy, we have deadlines, we have this going on or that going on. Trust us when we tell you that by getting your people out of the workplace and helping them refill their buckets, you will reap the benefits.
Yes. And when Trisha says get them outside, it's not even outside. It's just out of their offices.
Yes.
Out of their offices, focusing on something besides work, or work adjacent but in a fun way. So that's really important. And I remember I heard somebody say one time, like when you are feeling like you can't take a break is when you need to do it the most. Because it gives you such a different perspective if you can get out of your head, which sometimes is accomplished by getting out of your office, getting out of the office, getting out away from work and allowing your brain and your body some time to decompress. So Trisha, out of all the things we talked about, which one is your favorite?
I want to combine two of them because I love food trucks so much. I want to say bring in a food truck and maybe somehow or another combine that with doing something charitable for others because I really do think the more you do for others, the better you end up feeling, and the team building and the camaraderie that comes from knowing that you just made someone's day better. That is going to carry over. So I guess, I don't know if I can combine those two or not, but I'm going to try.
Of course you can. It's your world.
Yes. What about for you?
So I also love the charity aspect, and I think you could probably mix that with almost any of the ones we've talked about, but I like the giving your employees an experience they may not otherwise have. So I like that either a cooking class, the mocktail mixology class, the wine tasting, whatever, the charcuterie board, whatever it might be. But you could combine those with, hey, have everybody bring in donations for a food bank, or have
Love
everybody,
that.
bring in, again, the clothes for the Salvation Army or the, a local veterans group or whatever the case may be. Maybe you do a fashion show, and then have them bring in clothes. Whatever, you could have a lot of fun with that. But I think like mixing something that gives them an experience is more likely to stick with them. And it shows
Agreed.
that you put in more effort than just saying, hey, everybody come to the break room at 3. We're going to have some cocktails and chit chat, it gives them an experience. And again, the more experiences we have together, the better the connection, the deeper the connection. And again, it might get those creative juices flowing, and who knows where it will lead. So
I think that's fantastic. Yay.
hey, all right. So Trish, how's your wine treating ya?
It's really good. I'm sad it's gone. How about the sangria?
So I do like it. I could not drink more than one.
Well, you're not a sweet.
No, it's a little too sweet for me. It's a little too, it makes you pucker a little bit, at the end. So, it's a little too sweet for me. But it is, like I said, it's very nice for a hot summer day, something a little bit different. So,
Very
two
nice.
thumbs up, just only one.
Gotcha. All right. So for those of you who love sangria out there and like sweet stuff, this is a win.
Yeah, have at it. All right. Well, on that note, we hope that you enjoyed this little bit lighter of an episode and that we gave you some great ideas for some ways to build more camaraderie and inject a little bit of fun into your workplace. Any last words, Trish?
Just have fun. Have fun. It will end up yielding some amazing, amazing results.
Yes. So
girls just wanna. You sing it. I'm not gonna sing it.
Girls just wanna have fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us on this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.